All right. Yep, that's right, Naja Sensei. All right, let's begin. Right. Right. Oh, six. Oh, yeah. We can do this here. All right. Good morning, everyone. Ryu Goto here. I hope everyone's keeping safe and healthy. Thank you so much again to Karate Home, Nadia Corner, and Martin Buchstaller Sensei for hosting me once again. And also, you see a familiar face over here. That's Sensei Ryu Koyata. So he's actually assisting me today. I'm not an instructor, accredited instructor, so all my opinions are my own, but I'm very happy that he's joining us today because he's actually the one who taught me a lot of the things we're going to work on today. So if I get anything wrong, he'll be the first one to tell me. So I just wanted to say a few quick words before we begin. So many amazing senseis and workouts and classes, workshops that I've seen on Karate at Home. Many of them working on some amazing kihon and fundamentals, and I've learned so much. And I'm not trying to compete with that, but I would like to sort of riff a little bit on that today. A little bit of a twist. I'd like to take you back to your first day of class, learning karate. Maybe it was your free trial class. Maybe you didn't even have a gi on, you know? But I'd just like to take you back there and put a spin on it, a self-defense spin on it. I have to say that I'm not any kind of self-defense whiz or guru or expert here. That's actually his job. But I'd like to at least shed a little bit of light on basic kihon, self-defense kihon, and how that connects to the kihon that you might have learned on your first day. So let's begin with a little bit of a warm-up. I'm sure you guys have already warmed up a little bit just to supplement it. It's a little cold out, chilly. We're all a little stiff. So we're going to start off with our hands, okay? All right. Up, down, just the wrists. Just the wrists. Elbows. Elbows. Shoulders. Shoulders. Bend down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, sideways. Sideways. In, out, in, out, in, out. Twist. And sorry if the audio quality is not all there. I need to invest in a lapel mic or a headset. And you know, we have our masks on because of regulations. So apologies, I'll try to speak up and be as clear as possible. To the left. To the right. Touch the floor. Behind. And rotate your entire upper torso. And completely relax while you're doing this. Just focus on the joints actuating, right? Shikodachi. Right shoulder in. Left shoulder in. Come down on your right leg. Left leg. Stretch your hamstrings out. And then the front stance. Long front stance. Lunge. Ipsimus muscles here. Hip flexors. Quads. Your glutes. Other side. And we're done. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to do really, really basic stuff. Might be a little boring for some of you. If there are any beginners out there, this is a good way to start. So we're going to spice it up a little bit for the higher belts. All right? Us. Yoi. let's start with ageuke gyakuzuki. Okay? We're going to just stay in this shizentai, and then we're going to just work on one hand, one side first. From the left hand. Right, kihon ageuke, each. One count. Back to shizentai. Ni. Relax. Some. Actuate your spine, your shoulders. Shi. Feel the shoulders moving. Go. Look. I'm going to move forward a bit. Shich. Ach. Ku. Ja. Hey. Yame. Before we move on to the right side, just make sure that you're not kind of placing your hands at the end. Let them just naturally flow out without any kind of extra motion. Not like this, but just straight out. Just let the fist flow out of you, shoot out of you, even when it's slow. Right side now. Ready? Ich. Ni. Make sure to cover your face. San. Don't come from the outside. Shi. Go. Look. Shi. Hutch. Ka. Ja. Hey. Yame. Now, we're going to go into front stance from here. We're going to go forward into front stance each time. Same thing. Let's do 10 on the left, 10 on the right. Ready? A little more speed and power. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Shoot out your hand. Look. Six. Five. Good. Good. Hey. Amen. Right side. Don't focus too much on the lower body here, but everything you're doing, don't place it out. Shoot it out. Drive it out. Drive it out from the leg, the hip, the arms, everything. Let it come out of you. Don't place it there. This is not about this kind of kime. No kime required. Shoot it out. Ready? Right side. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Look. Shi. Ach. Ku. Ja. Hey. If you notice, I'm not really focusing on too many details, not about keeping your back legs straight or keeping your feet flat. Just focus on one thing and one thing only. Shooting it out. Shooting your weapons out. Now, we're going to do 2 more sets on both sides. But for the white belts, maybe the beginners, just keep doing the same thing. Maybe for the higher belts, the black belts, change your counter a little bit. Do something you'd like. We're doing gyakuzukis here, but maybe if you want, I'm going to choose age empi and tate empi and yoko empi. So we're just going to do tate empi first, one side, tate empi the other side, yoko empi, yoko empi. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Look. Six. Hutch. Cut. Cut. Hey. Make sure that you're blocking properly. You're not just kind of sliding into your counter. Block first and counter. One count, but the block is imperative. That it's imperative that you do the block Other side. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Chi. Go. La. Chi. Hash. Ka. Ja. Hey. Last thing on the left side, yoko empty. Ready? Ich. To the jodan. Ni. San. Chi. Go. Actuate. Rook. Your spine. Cheech. Shoulder blades. Hutch. Shoulder. Ga. Ja. Hey. Other side. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Chi. Go. Look. Ich. Hutch. Ga. Ja. Hey. Okay. And then now that we've done the standard stuff, right? Front stance, Yakuzuki, Tatenpi, Yokoenpi, whatever it is, we're going to start breaking it down a little bit. We're going to make the bridge into self-defense. So, the next thing I want you to do, and we're going to go back to doing it slow, and then we're going to go fast. So we're going to see this kind of high intensity, kind of up and down that we're going to do, okay? So the next thing we're going to do is not Zenkutsudashi, front stance, but shorten it. Almost kind of like a natural, not Benoji, but just a short front stance. Maybe about a hips width, shoulder width to the side. Don't worry so much about going deep, just drive your foot outwards. Drive your foot outwards. Second thing, also, we're not going to start from Shizentai as we do it normally in Kihon. We're going to go from what I like to call true Shizentai. True Shizentai is hands to the side, maybe a little bit narrow stance. Imagine that you're standing in line at a grocery store. That kind of Shizentai. So nobody stands in real life like this, right? You're just going to be going about your business, hands to the side, straight posture, and we're going to go from here, from the hands down to the sides. True Shizentai. So just to go slowly, first, each, knee. Just easy, san. Shi, focus on getting from point A to point B. Ga. Hands from point A to point B. Chich. Straight from here. Hach. Ka. Ja. Hey. Other side. Ich. Relax. Shoot it up. Knee. San. Chi. You can take your heel up if you want. Ga. Look. Chich. Hach. Ka. Ja. Hey. So if it looks sloppy, that's fine. We're just working on one mechanic only. Shooting your hands up and countering immediately afterwards in one synchronous motion. Now we're going to do it with more speed and power. Speed first. I don't care how you do it, and I'll explain this a little bit later, but I don't care how you do it, but get this hand up to Ageuke position as quickly, as expediently, and as powerfully, explosively as you can. Point A to point B. Point A to point B. We're going to switch from Chudan to Jodan. Jodan Gyakuzuki. Ready? Ich. Ni. San. Chi. So what we're doing here is just a concept I'm going to mention over and over again. So we're working today on the 3 Kihon blocks. Ageuke, Sotouke, Gedanbarai. And there are 3 concepts of what I like to call mental or mindset Kihon. The first one is making it work. So you want to make things work regardless of how you do it. And the processes and the mechanics that lead to the end result are very important, but we shouldn't miss the woods for the trees, so to speak. What I mean by that is all the things that you do in Kihon, whether it's driving the hip, turning the hip, driving the back leg, keeping posture straight, all these things are means and means only to an end, which is point of contact as quickly and as explosively as possible from point A to point B. That's the only thing that matters in a self-defense situation, is making sure that you can defend yourself and you can counterattack so you can exit the interaction. We're going to keep working on this. Next thing, we're going to do 2 more sets on one side, 2 more sets on the other, or we're going to switch off. Same thing, choose your favorite counter. I'm going to do Agempi, Tatempi, and Yokoempi, all to Jodan. First, Tatempi. Ready? Ich! Ne! Sa! Twist, twist, twist. Sa! Shi! Go! Lock! Teach! Ash! Ga! Ja! Hey! Other side. Ich! Ne! Sa! Ji! Go! Lock! Teach! Ash! Ga! Ja! Hey! Yokoempi. Ready? Other side. Now, we're going to make the final step to bridging to self-defense. Now, what are we doing here? What have we been training here other than getting our heart rates up? It's what's called the Startle Response, or the Flinch Reflex, which is one of the most basic evolutionary traits that we've developed to protect your head, the command center of your body, and the most important part of your body. So if you've ever heard like a loud noise, or if you've been startled, have you ever noticed that maybe a friend of yours was filming you? The first thing you do is you flinch. You protect your head. This is actually not part of, the big brain part of your head, but actually is hardwired into your brain stem. The reactions are so quick and subconscious that you can't even tell that you're doing it. Now, a lot of disciplines, and in social circles, people view the flinch reflex as kind of a negative thing. It's like, ha, you flinched. But in fact, it's a very valuable asset to us in a self-defense situation, because rarely are altercations and encounters predictable, where you know somebody's coming at you. And there are cases like that. A lot of times in robberies, maybe you're at a bank, you're coming out of a bank, or you're at a grocery store, in a parking lot. It'll come out of nowhere, and you won't have time to prepare. And this flinch reflex is going to save you, or at least it's going to save your head. And we want to reinforce that and ride on that response and make it more powerful so that it's effective. And we're not just flinching and cowering, but we're actually using it explosively to achieve dominance in a situation. So this is the second concept, the mental kihon, and it's about reclaiming initiative. In any self-defense situation, real self-defense situation, you're going to start off with lower initiative than your attacker. What that means is they're going to have advantages. They're going to have momentum behind their attacks. They're going to have the element of surprise. They might have positional advantage. They're coming from your blind spots behind you from the side. And they're going to have increased aggression. And so we're going to try to turn around any one or more of these factors so that we can achieve dominance and we don't get wailed on and keep getting beat up on. So the flinch reflex, if you also say this. So if he comes at me from some blind spot, anything, this is the normal response that you're going to have. You're going to flinch away from it. But what we've been training, as you saw, is to, by creating an explosive reaction in the flinch reflex go, you actually can, as you saw, I don't know if you saw this, I end up actually inside of him. And the kinetic energy hasn't attained maximum, he hasn't attained maximal kinetic energy in his strikes. And of course, look, this could be a broken beer bottle, a baseball bat, a chain, a knife. But in the case that you have no idea what he's coming with, right, go. Hey, your arm might be dead and broken, but better your arm than your head, right? So in this way, by explosively moving into it and using the flinch reflex, have you guys noticed where you've seen this before? Maybe? Maybe a little bit of this? Yes. So this is an explosive reaction where you, with increased aggression, you want to explosively create aggression, emotional, mental, and also physical aggression, so that you stop him in his tracks. His momentum, keep going. If I cower, he's just going to keep taking me out. And then that's it. But if you can stop his momentum before he builds it, right, keep going. Then you have options, yes, strikes, knees, clinches, takedowns, whatever it is. First step of the game, get your hands up explosively. So we train with the ageuke in Kihon. It's not about really doing a rising block. In the self-defense context, this rising block is nothing more than training the flinch reflex to protect your head. So what we're going to do now is, slowly please, is we're just going to do the flinch reflex, explosive flinch reflex, and we're going to strike. We're going to strike. For you white belts, straight or a little bit, you can curve it a little bit, hook. And yes, I know this is not the traditional way of doing a JKA straight or Gyakuzuki, but we're not really going to discuss the details there today. That's for another day. So flinch, strike. Notice my hand here. No hikite. I'm going to talk about that at the end as well. But flinch, explosively flinch, and strike. If you're a black belt, do whatever you want. Whatever you chose before, maybe you were working on in the drill before. Okay? So same thing, short stance. You're moving in, you're driving the shoulder in, shoulder and hip in, cutting the angles so that you're creating distance, initiative, reclaiming initiative, so that you can strike, or you can draw a concealed weapon, or a knife, concealed knife, right? So it doesn't, if you concealed carry a weapon, that it kind of works for that too. It's the same principles. Drive in, create distance, increased violence of action. This is a term used in the military. Violence of action. Drive in, strike. Okay? Let's ready? We're going to do 10 reps. Remember, no hikite. and simultaneously, explosively drive. Notice sometimes my hands were out, sometimes they're in. Don't worry about it now, depending on the weapon. If it's a bladed weapon, you don't want to get cut on the inside, right, where all your veins and arteries are. But it's easier to go for, grab, clinch, whatever. Don't worry about the details. Get your hands up. Protect your face. Make it work. Remember, that's one of the mental kihon. Other side, right side. Again, some of this might feel a little awkward and unnatural for you black belts, maybe not for the white belts, because we've trained so much to do the correct, proper techniques in kihon. But in self-defense, and only in self-defense in this case, it's not about doing the proper or correct techniques, it's about doing techniques that are good enough and work. Whatever works is whatever's good. Now, we're going to do the same thing, left side, left side, right side, with additional counters for your black belts, for your white belts, maybe still with a straight. Ready? Other side. One more time. Left side. Yoko enpi to the side of the chin. Ready? Flexible. Remember, don't stiffen up. It's not about kime. It's not about stiffening up. It's about driving. Point A to point B. Point A to point B. Point A to point B. That's the only thing that matters in the fundamentals. Ready? So you can see that we went from kihon to breaking down the kihon a little bit, more fluid, and then to the real life application. They don't always look the same, but when you bridge the gap, you'll start to see which mechanics are translating from the static kihon to the more dynamic self-defense kihon. And this is where you see, oh, okay, Agenke is meant to be training these responses, these nervous, muscular, and neuromuscular responses in the biomechanics in order to work in self-defense. Protect your head. Make it work. Reclaim initiative. And just as, before we move on to the next one, sorry, I need to always keep doing a time check here. All right, cool. The last but not least mindset kihon you should have when training basic self-defense is self-defense shouldn't be difficult. It shouldn't take, I always say this, it shouldn't take 4 years and a black belt in order to make you ready to face the real world. Ideally, from day one, you should be preparing yourself, and it should prepare you for something that happens on the street. Bad guy's not going to wait for you to complete your training, put on your black belt before facing you. So, effective basic self-defense is intuitive, requires minimal training, and should be broadly applicable. Right? So when we're working on the flinch reflex here, it doesn't matter if he comes at you with a hook, some kind of overhand attack, a slash, maybe with a blunt weapon, from a straight from behind. Just get your hands up, protect your head. Priority number one. Next block we're going to train is Gisotoge. Right? So we're going to do this slowly again. Just standing in regular Shizen bag. Right? Each, ni, san, shi, go, rock, shish, relax, ash, good, ja, hey, very nice. Now, we're going to go into front stance, out of counter. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Right? Each, ni, san, shi, flow, go, rock. Don't worry about being perfect. Shish, hash, point A to point B. Good. Ja. Hey. Other side. Each. Ni. San. Shi. Go. Look. Shish. Touch. Good. Ja. Hey. Next, another, choose your favorite counters. I'm going to choose tiger mouth or koko, strike to the neck. You can do it like this, right? Straight out like this, or you can do it kind of like a boshiken slash keito to the neck, the trachea, and the carotid arteries. Choke, right? And the second one, we're just going to go yoko enpi. Ready? Slowly is fine. Maybe a little bit more power though. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, tish, touch, cup, ja. Hey, other side. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, tish, touch, ka, ja. Hey. And as you get more fatigued, you're going to start notice yourself being less correct and less perfect. That's okay. Your body is just finding its equilibrium and finding the way it most efficiently moves. Not but tom-tom, tom-tom. And you'll start to feel it kind of break down as you create this rhythm, more and more rhythm. All right. Yoko enpi. Ready? Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, shish, hash, cup, ja. Hey. Other side. Ich, ni, san, shi, go, look, shish, hash, cup, ja. Hey. If you're doing the yoko enpi, if you notice, if Hime, you're going to end up stopping here. Don't stop here. Drive in, drive through. Oh, drive through. Let your body do the stopping itself. Now, next thing, we're going to take a little bit of a step back, different from the ageuke. Back to shizentai, but what I like to call hands up shizentai. Hands at shoulder level. This is going into the practical application here. Many physical altercations start with a verbal cue. Even without a verbal cue, they'll start with shoves. He'll start, hey man, I don't want any trouble. But if you let him shove you, you're just gonna fall back until you're gonna be at his mercy. You want to de-escalate the situation while you still have some initiative. You're de-escalating the situation while turning it around to superior initiative. What I mean by this is, go, hey man, I don't, uh-oh, mask it on. Sorry, I'm gonna our own mask here. Nice. I'm sorry about that. My assistant here had 2 masks on. Amazing. Prepared for the worst, right? Right. Hey man, I don't want any trouble, dude. I don't want any trouble. Hey man, I don't want any trouble. If you notice, I'm not doing things too hard. He's coming at me hard, but if I resist with either the body or slap his hand away, he's going to take that as an affirmation to increase his aggression. We don't want that, at least not in the beginning stages here. Oh man, thank you. Thank you. Man, everybody's so supportive. This is amazing.
It's very easy to breathe through.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Sorry guys. Give me 2 seconds while I fix my mask. Alright, cool. So you want to do almost like a nagashiyuke. You're just parrying, and just do it slowly, please. If you've noticed, while I'm de-escalating, I'm talking to him calmly, but I've already have superior dominance in initiative, and he's going to be confused. But I'm not giving too much resistance. I'm just flowing through. So this way, he can't use his positional advantage, right? So he can't use his inside arms to attack me. So we're going to do this a little bit. We're just going to do open hand, kind of a nagashiyuke, right? So same thing as sotouke, the mechanics from the outside, but we're just de-escalating. No count, just flow through. And watch how we're cutting the body, maybe taking a little bit of a step back, right? We're cutting, so that if he's coming with a 2-hand shove, you're not giving equal resistance, right? If you give equal resistance, you're either going to topple back, or you're just going to keep crashing into him. If you've done pit maneuvers, if you're in the military, if you've done tactical driving, maybe, or you've done police work, you know that you're not supposed to run a car off by hitting them in the back, right? You go off to the side, and then you nudge them off like this. You just apply a little, you lean in into the steering wheel, and the car, the front car goes off the road. Same thing here. Just lean in. Keep going. Ich, ni, san, shi. Calmly go. Look. Shich. Ah. I don't want any trouble. Keep talking. There's verbal stuff here, but we're just doing the hand stuff, the technique. Yeah. Ich, ni, san, shi. Go. Look. Shich. Touch. Good. Two. Now, finally, right? We have our hands up here, and just a little bit of why we're starting from here as opposed to here is you're already having superior positioning, hand positioning. You don't want to start off here if you can handle it, right? You want to have your hands up so you can always strike, you can defend. But it's a non-threatening, de-escalating posture, right? Hands up, zentai. Now, we're going to do this explosively. This is when he won't just take no for an answer. He's a bully. He's trying to rob me, and he's he's got his eyes set on my wallet. He's not going to take no for an answer. I've already told him no, I don't want any trouble, I'm going to leave, but he just won't take no for an answer. He'll shove me really hard. Right? It's very strong. So, we're going to move that. So in this case, we've been kind of, start from the kind of a softer shove, where you escalate, sorry man, sorry, hey, and then go hard. You snap explosively inwards. You've been going backwards. You snap explosively inwards, and you completely take his positional advantage away, and you strike him. So we're going to do that. Unfortunately, if you don't have partners, you're going to have to sort of stimulate this in your head. But we're going to do this, again, short stance, but instead of moving backwards or staying neutral, we're going to move forward, aggressively cutting the body, driving the hip into and shoulder into his shove, and countering. Remember, no hikite. We're not trying to go here, right? After, you can come back, you can cover. Make sure that this hand, the rear hand, isn't dead. Ready? We're going to do koko and yoko and feet, as well as just the regular old strike, the straight. We're going to start with a punch here. Ready? In! Yeah! Tick! Go! Left! Ditch! Cut! Ready? Other side. Itch! Dip! Stop! Share! Go! Left! Ditch! Watch! Jump! Back. Alright, now, next left hand. Ready? Itch! Dip! Stop! Sit! Go! Left! Ditch! Let's go! Other side. It's there! Stop! Sit! Go! Left! Ditch! Let's go! Hey! 10 more. Let's go. It's there! Stop! Sit! Go! Left! Ditch! Let's go! Hey! Other side. It's there! Stop! Sit! Go! Left! Ditch! Let's go! Hey! Where have you seen this kind of movement before, huh? Weird, isn't it? You've seen this before. Now, we're going to move on to the last but not least of the basic blocks. Gedanbarai. Okay, so the Gedanbarai is the most obvious application against that is a knife strike to the torso, slash, knife strike, stab to the torso. But we're not really going to deal with that because it's very dangerous. It takes a lot of practice. Not yet, at least. This is the first day, remember, first day of school. So, obviously you're parrying, you're trapping against the body, you're doing all kinds of things, but it requires a lot of coordination. What we're going to do is a defense against a very common attack in domestic violence situations. And this is the strangulation choke. So, if you come at me with strangulation, this happens quite a bit, actually, in domestic violence situations. And they'll come at you forcefully. They're not just going to place their hands. They're going to come at me. Please don't hurt me. See? So, as you saw, I'm being driven back. Same mechanic, sort of, as the sotoke, the defense against the shove. But this time, what we're going to do is, actually, I'm better on this side. Let's continue slowly. As he comes, he's going to push into me. I'm going to brace with my back leg, but simultaneously actuate my shoulder. Boop, boop, boop. As you can see, hold on a little. As you can see, his hands become increasingly, it's increasingly hard for him to hold on. I'll hold on to this. And then drive down into his groin. Okay? One more time. I'm going to show it in steps. Drive back, hold one hand this way so you're not standing square into the choke, but already you're cutting. You're cutting so that he doesn't have even pressure on both arms. Same time, raise, come down into the groin. Excuse me, did I hit you? And then counter. So this actually works on the side, the full 180 degrees. Even if he comes into the side, you can still actuate here. If he comes in for a clinch, one way to do it, if he's not too strong, is to actually come around this way. But this is a slightly different movement, right? Outside versus inside. So we're just going to work on the outside. We're going to start off with regular Granbada Counter. I don't know how much time we have. Actually, we need to hurry here. So we're going to go immediately into the short stance and come over the top. Granbada. For the additional two, I want you to do Granbada, Tetsui, Gyakuzuki, Granbada, Yoko Uraken, Gyakuzuki. Okay? Ready? Let's. And we're going to go a little bit slowly in the beginning. Ich, ni. We're moving forward, but you can move back as well. Sa. She, actuate your shoulders. Go, rotate. Look, big. Sich. Where have we seen this before? Hutch. Ka. Ja. Other side. Ich. Ni. Sa. Shape. Go. Lock. Stage. Shoulder. Hutch. Hook. Ja. Hey. Now a little faster. Granbada, Tetsui, Yatsugi. Ich. Ni. Sa. Shit. Go. Look. Stitch. Hutch. Hey. If you notice, I gradually started breaking down not each knee, but and then swing into it. Cut across his chin. Knee, and then follow through. Ready? Yoko Uraken. Same thing. Right? Oh, right side? Okay, excuse me. I missed it. Ich. Nip. Up. Sit. Go. Up. Ditch. Hutch. Good. Step. Right. Same thing left. I'll say back in. Ich. Nip. Up. Sit. Go. Up. Ditch. Hutch. Hey, remember, when you're doing the Granbada, trap and control his other points of contact. There are 2 points of contact, left and right. Control one, take out the other one. Okay? Other side. Ich. Nip. Sup. Shit. Go. Left. Bitch. Ah. Good. do, guess what? Heian Shodan. And we're going to do it the standard conventional way, a little slowly at first. But hopefully, you're going to see what's going on there. You're going to imagine. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go. Oh, actually, we're just going to feel that. Imagine, we're going to take it slowly. Ready? And if you don't have enough space, do Sonoba. Take back and go for front. Ready? Heian Shodan.
Heian Shodan.
Yoi. Already. Shizentai. Each. One count. We did that. Knee. Oh, we did that. And keep going. Shi. Go. Go. Six. Arch. Down there. And yes, I counted weirdly. I put all the sequences together. But were you able to see what was going on there? It may not be the only explanation, but this way you've got a sense of, oh, okay, this is what's going on here, this is what's going on here, this is what's going on here. Now, relax. Don't worry about doing don't worry about doing perfect, correct stances, techniques. Use your mind. All right? One more time. A little bit more flowing and faster. Heian Shodan.
Heian Shodan.
Yoi. Ich. Ni. Sam. Hey. Shi. Go. Sa. Hey. Six. Hot. Yame. And, of course, we have to do the mirror side. Ready? Heian Shodan.
Shodan.
Remember, right side, left side in this case. Ich. Ni. Sam. Hey. Shi. Go. Go. Hey. Fish. Ah. Yame. Right? Got it? Yasune. As you see, these are all kata in this way makes a lot more sense if you use your imagination. And this is for self-defense. I get that everybody, and wrapping up here, but I get that everyone has different aims in the study of karate. Whether it's competition, even within competition, if it's kumite or kata, maybe you're just doing it to feel good. You're doing fitness. Maybe you're doing it for self-defense. But in each case, going back to the fundamentals and looking at it in that context, you'll see that the seeds of inspiration are right there. All you got to do is look at it in the right way. For self-defense, remember the three mindset kihons. One is making it work. Be goal-oriented, not process-oriented. All of these things feed into the end result, but the end result is points of contact, wherever it is, to points of contact. A to B, as expediently, as powerfully, and as explosively as possible, with maximal kinetic energy. Second thing, make sure that self-defense, basic self-defense is intuitive. If you're doing something weird and it's really hard to figure out what you're doing, you're probably not doing it right, because under stress, you're going to revert to your instincts, your basic training, what feels natural to you. None of that's going to come out if you're not comfortable with it. It doesn't feel natural to you. Should require minimal training and should apply to the most broad number of cases. the most common attacks. And obviously we didn't do defense against charges, takedowns. We didn't do knife attacks to the torso. These are some common attacks as well. But that's maybe day 2, day 3 of self-defense training. And lastly, reclaim initiative. Remember what initiative is. Essentially, it's advantage. It's positional advantage. It's aggression. It's momentum. And it's the ability to strike back without being struck. So those are the 3 things. Anything else you'd like to add?
Maybe some of you are wondering why most of the katas are starting towards the left. That's because the power hand of most people is the right hand. That is why. That's why most of the kata start towards the left. Not all of them. There are exceptions, teki, but most of them they start towards the left side. So this is why the way of doing it. Also, the Samhong step is, and also in Kihon we are doing 3 and 5. Why 3 and 5? Why not 4 and 6? For the same reason, because right side is the power side, left side is not so powerful, so you're doing more on the weak side and less on the power side. If you're wondering, what's going on here.
Man, this is why I shouldn't have done the workshop and he should have done it. This is why. Thank you, though, everyone. So if you want to see extra notes or some references, not references, resources, I put the kind of the write-up down below. You can check it out. If you have any questions, you can always DM me and message me. Also, we'll be here for a little bit of a Q&A. So we're going to be checking the comments right now. But first, all right. Let's over here and see. Everyone. Damn, this is always so crazy to see. Like people from Finland, England, Denmark. Everyone. Hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a little bit of a jump from what you might be used to doing normally. Alan Sensei, Lambrecht Sensei. Hi, Ramo. But if you saw, like one comment I'd like to make, for example, with the punches, we didn't really talk about punches, and I was coming from the top. And that's usually kind of a no-no when it comes to for JK karate. But I don't think that they're necessarily too different. Yeah, I mean, the angle might be different, but what JK punches teach you to do is create tension in the pectorals, deltoids, and the lats, and a little bit in the trapezius as well too, so that you have you solidify this entire chain, right? So you're not punching and it just bounces back off. You're punching and then you're creating an inelastic collision, if we're talking, basic sort of physics mechanics. Same thing with coming over the top. It doesn't mean you're loose here. It just means that, with a different angle, you're using the same muscles to contract and at the same time minimize this gap over here. You're protecting with your shoulder. So don't think of things too statically. Punch has to be this, straight punch, straight out, nearly parallel to the ground, a little bit facing down, if it's chudan, jodan. Don't think about things too rigidly. If you saw, and I hope Tanaka Sensei will forgive me for this, you've seen him score, right, with a Mawashizuki in one of these old famous videos. You see Kagizukis, you see Urazukis, hooks, different kinds of hooks in the kata everywhere. So, this isn't just the one and only punch. There's everything in between. Thank you, Martin Sensei. Any questions? We'll answer. If I can't answer, he'll definitely be able to answer. We'll be here for another, 5 minutes or so. And I know this was again, a little bit of a jump from the previous workshop, which was more kind of like artsy-fartsy when it came to doing kata. But, this just goes to show that there's so many different kinds of karate and so many different ways to practice karate. So, One of the things that we didn't work on, and you saw in the end of Heian Shodan, was these open hand strikes. And these are actually really powerful techniques if you can add them to your self-defense arsenal. Whether it's slaps, right? If you've been slapped as a kid, you know how shocking it is, right? It just automatically makes you flinch. No matter how strong you are, that slap is going to feel like it's going to be a wake-up call to anybody who's crazed enough to be attacking you. Slaps, open hand strikes, to the trachea, to the carotid arteries. These are really powerful weapons that once you become more comfortable with your arms and hands going to the right places, so you're a little more accurate with your techniques, you'll start to really be able to work on these. You've seen this before, right? All this stuff. Where have we seen all these different movements? Teki, anyone? Right? Maybe a little bit of Jion right over here. You've seen all of this before. It's just about making the connections in the head. Oh, okay. This is how it works. If you've seen Funakoshi Sensei's, again, I hope he'll forgive me. He's probably rolling in his grave right now because I'm talking about him. But Funakoshi Sensei's old demonstrations, you'll see, that the stances are much shorter. He's actually leaning forward a little bit. This is the kind of the fighting stance, traditional fighting stance. Doesn't mean that a straight posture and long stances are bad. These are just training tools to make you more effective, to develop your neuromusculature so that you're more effective standing up. If you're on a wet surface, we used to actually be training out on Saturdays. We trade outside in the park. If you're on a wet, slippery surface, you're not going to be doing full, long stances. You're going to be shortening them so you can to get better grip and balance and traction on the floor. If you're on an icy road, muddy road, gravel, concrete, wood, mats, all these. If you've competed, when we were competing in Ireland, the mats were incredibly slippery and finicky too. I think you guys might have seen the videos where the teeth fall out. You got to adjust for these things. Making it work is one of the central ideas of karate. It's not about static principles. All these things are just tools that build up to making it work. Os. Anything else?
Regarding the straight body, straight spine all the time, of course, it's important, and that will teach you balance. The main three stances in karate, Zenkutsudachi, Kokutsudachi, and Kibadachi. That will teach you balance, how to place your center of weight, your seikatan in the middle, in the front, in the back. But while you're fighting, sometimes you need to move maybe a little bit forward or just evade a little bit back. And you still need to be in balance. That's paramount. So once you learn balance, you have to maintain balance even when you lean forward or you lean back with your body. I guess this is what Ryu-san was trying to explain.
How are you supposed to be able to maintain balance if you don't know where your center is in the first place, right? It's like a top. You know how to balance well in the front, but you're terrible in the back. That's lopsided. So, first you make the posture straight, and then, you rotate around. Cobra defense, leaning into the defense, ducking. You've seen kumite videos, right? Rarely do people end up with a picture-perfect Yakuzuki here or picture-perfect Mawashigiri with the spine straight. You're leaning back, you're ducking, you're going side to side, you're juking people, faking people. That's all what it is, really. Okay, well, everyone, I hope you got maybe a little bit of a sweat this time. People are telling me I talked too much in the last one, so hopefully we'll do this again. But thank you, karatekas and steers, the senpais, Martin and Nadia and Lee senpai. Os, arigatou gozaimashita. Os, arigatou gozaimashita. Arigatou gozaimashita.
Os. Thank you, guys.
Let us know if you have any questions in the messages. Os. Alright, now this is awkward. I don't know how to end this. Oh, no, there it is.